from An Ordinary Summer. Shifting Sands. When I was a new priest, I remember spending a weekend down at Camp St. Christopher on a vestry retreat. One morning before breakfast, I went for a walk on the beach. The air was crisp and dry. A strong breeze was blowing. I veered off into the dunes between the beach and Privateer Creek, and I promptly startled a deer, a pretty doe. Or maybe to be more accurate, she startled me as she went crashing off into the marsh. On my way back, I encountered a vestryman who was also out for a walk. This gentleman, Bill Wilson is his name, knowing that I had grown up in that section of our Carolina coast, proceeded to point out various bodies of water and masses of land, which he asked me to identify. I pointed out Botley Island, directly across from the camp, and Edisto behind that, and the North Edisto River, and the village of Rockville on Wadmalaw Island, across the marsh, and Bohicket Creek. I then drew our attention to a small key known as DeVoe Bank, which helps to form the North Edisto Inlet. The first time I ever went out there was as a child, around 4 or 5 years of age. My father had taken a friend and me over in a john boat. In those days, the bank had washed away so much that it was little more than a sandbar. I remember at the time my father saying that when he was a boy, DeVoe Bank was an island with wax myrtles growing in the dunes, but not then. But it'll grow back one day, I remember he said to me. From where the vestryman and I stood, it was obvious that DeVoe Bank had built back up again. In my father's childhood, it was a substantial key. In my childhood, it had become a sandbar. Now in adulthood, it had become an island again. Perhaps in my very old age, it will be no more than a sandbar again. But such are the ways of the shifting sand and changing tides. I began to think about the ways and harmonization of nature. It's all about hope, I wanted to say, not to mention patience. The promise and paradox of the gospel. It's all going to be okay, even when and if it's not okay. The vestryman I encountered that morning is a rocket scientist. So I asked him about all this. He answered matter-of-factly, well, it's the law of thermodynamics that all the hills will be leveled and all the valleys will be filled. Indeed, every valley shall be lifted up and every mountain and hill be made low. The uneven ground shall become level and the rough places a plain. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all people shall see it together. We, the people of God, have been given this promise. They will hunger no more and thirst no more, for the Lamb at the center of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of the water of life, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. I thought again about the deer I had disturbed, a descendant of a deer my own father might have seen in his day, and a likely ancestor of a deer that others who come after me will see. Hope and continuity across the ages.